This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, you notice anything different about me?
Oh, you got a haircut.
I got a haircut.
Well, you got a hat on, though, so that's tough.
I'll take the hat off.
Well, and you told me that you had some hot haircut anecdotes to tell.
Well, Tom, I told you that in confidence. I wanted to surprise the listener with it because we get a good response whenever we have a haircut talk here.
People love it. I mean, we should just rebrand the podcast and then become those kinds of maniacs to get weekly haircuts.
Tom, I've told you this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I aspire one day to have a job where I could get a daily haircut. And I think the only job is like newscaster, right?
Newscaster or like talk show host or soap opera star, somebody who's on television every day.
Yeah.
We'll get a
Wouldn't
daily
that be
haircut.
cool? You sit down in a chair, and that way it wouldn't take that long. It's just like a couple minutes every day.
You think? I mean, I think it would take the same amount of time.
What are you, nuts?
You're just not cutting as much, but you still got to cut every hair a little teeny bit.
Yeah, when I do get a haircut, they do cut each hair one by one.
I mean, how can you possibly need a daily haircut?
You can't. You don't need it. You don't need
I know,
anything.
but
I don't need a monthly haircut, and I don't get a monthly haircut. I go once every couple months.
But I'm saying at some point, if you're getting daily haircuts, you're going to say to the barber, hey, wait a minute. Look, I came in here with a very big head of hair, and now I'm practically shaved bald because, you don't know when to say when.
I think it's a different kind of barber that we're thinking of, Tom. You can't get a regular guy in there that's like used to cutting a whole bunch of hair
Right.
at once.
So you have to get a barber that's used to only cutting a little bit of hair?
Yeah, I'm sure that that is a special skill in the world of barbery.
Barbature?
Barbature. Where where it's
you
like
know what?
I can do a daily cleanup. Like I think it's different if you work on the Today Show and you're giving Matt Lauer a haircut every morning.
Damn, I
when
bad
he
news
gets
about
there.
Matt Lauer.
What? I don't want to hear any bad news about it. He's safe, right?
I think he is
He's safe
very
and he's
safe,
okay?
but he's not been on the Today Show for a while due to some issues.
COVID. Yeah,
No,
I know. He's a little,
no. They kept doing the
yeah.
Today Show even during COVID. This was before.
I know, but
COVID.
you don't want to put Lauer in danger. Oh, you
Well,
make him
maybe
come to the
that's how-
studio every day, and oh no.
Well, I mean, beyond him being an awful person, you've
Now, what?
you've-
Say what?
You've given a horrible example, Tim, because Matt Lauer, we watched him go bald on the Today Show.
You think that was because his daily?
It might have
barber-
been. It might have
Wow.
been to the point where, this poor barber backed himself into a corner, kept giving him a haircut every day, and it got to the point where Matt Lauer was bald. And he was
Yeah, but
probably
the barber's afraid for his livelihood, so he's still snipping around.
right. Well, I was going to say, I wonder if one of if the type of barber that does daily haircuts for a TV or show or something is just like a really good bullshit artist who's just snipping the air and being like, oh, yeah, you got a bunch of wild hairs that grew 2 inches since last night.
It's got to be something. You're doing something, because if you're getting a daily haircut, it's not going to, after a month, you're not going to need a big cut.
Maybe the people that give a daily haircut, they're just very good at like, I'm cutting a 1/4 of an inch, or not even that. It's like I'm cutting in the same spots every day, the same air. And some days, some hairs are going to be in there. Mm-hmm. Some days they're
Yeah,
not.
that's all I want.
Well, I'm telling you, most days nothing's going to be in there.
Tom, what I want to do, I aspire to be, and I've long aspired to this, like a cartoon character. I want to be wearing the same clothes every day, but like freshly laundered.
Right,
like it never
right.
looks like, oh, this guy's been in the same outfit for 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's just like
and you
signature
also
outfit.
Want the same length hair
Yeah,
all the time.
I want to look exactly the same every time you see me. You know what? I hate when celebrities. Tom, your dog Ginger is freaking me out. She's walking over near the equipment. Just sit down. Yeah, these celebrities, when a guy who didn't have a beard now has a beard. Stop it.
Yeah, you don't like
You
that.
should have one look.
Well, and you've said you get very mad about women who age in Hollywood.
That's not. I've
You've
never said. I've
that's-
never said that. Tom.
You're like, get off the silver screen. Nobody wants to see that.
Tom, I'm
Or get some work done.
As more or more a fan of the Gene Smart Renaissance as anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Did you know did you watch Watchmen?
Who watches The Watchmen?
Yeah, that's from the comics. Did you watch Watchmen?
I recently rewatched the first episode, which
Okay.
is where I got last time,
Right.
and it's good.
Right.
But I'm also like, I feel like I'm paying too much attention to things because I'm not familiar with.
Well, that's never been a problem before in your life.
No, I've never been a fan of. I've never read the comic, and I
Right.
didn't see your favorite movie of all time, Zack Snyder's The Watchmen.
Hey, well, you wouldn't like reading the comic because you see Dr. Manhattan's penis, and you got so scandalized seeing Lois Lane's butt in a comic that you would. I don't know. I think you wrote a letter to
5
to
years,
DC
you're like,
Comics.
you had to read All-Star Superman, Tim. Oh, it'll change your life. Page 3, it's Lois Lane's butt, and I'm like, oh, I know why this changed Tom's life because he finally saw a butt in the
I've
comics.
seen Lois Lane's butt before.
Anyway, Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I've ever seen her butt. I remember seeing her boobs in that movie.
Right.
Well, it was a big deal as like a teenage boy. It was like, hey, guess what? Lois Lane is in a movie, and I didn't. It was an R-rated movie, and I was not old enough. And I remember, I think it was me and AJ. We had just seen that Ivan Reitman movie, Evolution.
Okay. So time.
Remember that
I think
with
that
David
movie
Duchovny?
came out in like 2003, putting you firmly in your 20s.
Maybe it wasn't that movie then. Maybe it was a different movie. But I remember we saw some movie that was like not very good, and we felt like we hadn't got our money's worth. So we went into the theater where the movie that famously had Terry Hatcher show her boobs.
Okay, yeah.
Which I don't remember the name of.
All right.
And I've never been so lucky in my life, Tim. We snuck into that theater, we sat down, and it happened right away.
We're gonna have to dump
and
this
then we
whole
were,
segment. Tom.
and we were like, all right, we can go. We saw it.
Great. Couple of pervs in the movie theater. Great.
Anyway, I was gonna say about Watchmen, and Gene Smart, great. I'm very happy.
That's why I started watching it again because
Yeah.
my thing was because I felt like I had to really get the context by paying a lot of attention because I don't know. I know this is essentially a sequel
Right.
series to that, so it's like. Not knowing the source material or the original material, I'm gonna have my brain's gonna be at the working overtime, and then at the end of the first episode, I'm like, I think I understand this. I don't think I needed to like watch the body language of every
No.
single extra to understand. So I think I'm gonna keep watching it, Tom. This was
Yeah.
just a couple nights ago I started because of the Gene Smart Renaissance. I was
Right.
like, well, I gotta watch that and the Mayor of Easttown.
Well, and we both watched Hacks, and we both
Yeah.
really liked Hacks.
Yeah. Tom, you like a different type of hack, computer hackers.
Well, you like a different kind of hack, being one.
That's what they're talking about in.
Oh,
the
I
thing.
guess
That's
you like the same type of hack.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I only watched it because I thought it was about famous hacks that have happened throughout the computer history.
Tom, a lady was cutting my hair, and she was so much like Megan Mullally. Specifically, Megan Mullally's character in Party Down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was so chatty, Tom. And
Yeah.
you know me, I'm not good at small talk.
All right, you're not good at big talk either.
I'm not good at any kind of talk. I'm not a talker.
You're good at.
I'm a thinker. I'm a doer. I'm not a talker.
I mean, you've done a podcast for a long time that involves just talking endlessly.
Yeah, it's not very successful.
That's true. I mean, I guess people could look at that and be like, "Yeah, look, he's not good at talking."
Yeah, we have hundreds of hours of documented proof of how bad he is at talking.
That's true. Yeah.
And likes and
And
you know how
who can forget your famous podcast catchphrase? Duh, which way did he go?
I wish I was that articulate. All right. So normally,
Yeah.
somebody's cutting my hair and they're trying to make small talk, and I can like signal pretty quickly, like I'll answer. I usually answer with a lie.
Right, or usually you signal with just a single finger up to your lips.
No, but like I think people can get the vibe of. I think most of the time, somebody cutting their hair is like, all right, I'm gonna gauge how much this person is interested in.
And honestly, I do feel bad for barbers because they have a bad reputation as like chatty Cathys, but I think it's an occupational hazard where it's like, no, some people like to talk to the barber, and if the barber isn't chatty, then they're like, whew, well, I'm not tipping, or I'm gonna leave a bad review.
Yeah. But this, I also felt a little I felt like I was talking to Megan Mullally the whole time, and that helped.
Yeah.
But, like, she would not let a second go. So I was like, I have to be in this. And I was like, maybe I can turn into a guy that's chatty. And I told the truth to every question she asked me.
Wow.
I asked her questions in return.
What kind of scissors are those?
We had a real conversation. No, like I know where she grew up.
Yeah, wow.
Where she lives. Her son's going to Amherst in the fall, Tom, as a freshman.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's what I said. Congratulations. And she said thank you.
Sounds like you did a good job.
Two adults having a conversation.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know each other.
Wow.
It was wild. It also makes me think that I'd be a really bad spy.
Uh-huh.
Because... you know how like sometimes they're like, we found you, you're a spy, and we're gonna torture you to know what you know.
Yeah.
All they would have to do is send somebody in where I'd feel awkward if I didn't talk to
Right.
them. Send in a Megan Mullally type to just be like, what do you know about this stuff? And I'd be like,
what do you know?
I should probably just answer with the truth because it would be rude not to.
Well, I mean, we discussed last week about how neither of us would make for very good spies because we'd be nervous all the time.
Yeah.
So not only would you be so nervous that you would be easily caught, but then you would immediately give up everything you know just by having somebody nice ask you. They'd be able to come in and just play good cop, better cop.
Exactly. And look... save everybody a lot of time because I'm gonna break anyway, and let's not hurt old Timmy. Let's just.
Do you think it would be a good idea? Maybe you've stumbled on a business venture here, barbershop staffed by lookalikes. You know, and then it's like, yeah, you know what to talk with this person about because maybe you have some questions about Marilyn Monroe's final days.
Wait, so these people would actually embody those people?
Oh yeah, they wouldn't just be lookalikes; they would be full-on impersonators.
Wow, that's a wild idea,
right? But you would go. I would go to that if it's like, guess who's cutting your hair today? Robert De Niro. From Taxi Driver.
Oh, so in that case, he would be an actual character from a movie.
Maybe,
what makes Travis Bickle tick? I wouldn't want him around
with scissors. Yeah. Well, but I think for the impersonators, that would be fun because then like
could really ham it up.
Yeah, and like Bruce Lee can wear like his Enter the Dragon costume one day.
Right.
And he's like, I'm my character from Enter the Dragon.
Right.
And yeah, it would keep it fresh for everyone. I was going to say about Watchmen, I was going to say, despite loving Jean Smart in everything she's done recently, I was, and this is quite a feat, disappointed that she was the second choice for that character in Watchmen.
Who was the first?
Sigourney Weaver.
Ripley herself.
She would have been great. And apparently, like...
That was during the Sigournissance.
Yeah. And apparently, Jean Smart got hired, I guess, like... they were negotiating with Sigourney Weaver and it just didn't work out. Because Jean Smart said she got hired like a week before the show. And she was like, I really didn't have time to research the character. Like I
never would have done it if I had known.
I mean, I can't imagine Jean Smart sitting down and reading a full 12-issue comic.
Why, you think she's not smart enough?
No, I think she'd get
it's
halfway.
right in her name, Tom.
No, but I think she'd get halfway through and be like, nah, this is all nonsense.
Sure, I'll do it. They'll pay me, right?
Did you know that Jean Smart's real name is Elizabeth Smart?
She was prescient for
or I
changing
forget
her
if it's her middle name or her real first name. I think she might be Elizabeth Jean Smart. But yeah, as good as she was, Sigourney Weaver would have been awesome.
I
Sigourney
hope
Weaver,
for your sake the multiverse theory is real. So maybe one day we can travel to that multiverse
and watch
that.
where Sigourney Weaver plays. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, one of America's most underrated actresses.
Really? I think she's beloved and works very frequently.
She doesn't work enough. I want to see her in everything
Tom, she's
I watch.
turning things down.
Put her in the new...
They tried to get her for stuff. She's the one drawing line.
I know.
And you think a woman shouldn't be able to choose the projects that she works on and what she declines? I bet you think they all should show their butts in them too.
No, they
just
should
like Lois Lane in the pages of All Star
they should
Superman,
just find a way
or
to
Terry
work,
Hatcher in the movie that you don't even remember the name of.
find a way to work around Sigourney Weaver's schedule so she can be in everything. That's all I'm saying. Work around it. Get her Stan Lee style and up in front of a green screen and just have her say a bunch of things and then put her in the movies later.
You heard him, Hollywood. Get to it. Tom, hot town, summer in the city. Back of my neck, getting dirt and gritty. Dirty and gritty?
Tim has been discussed, I don't know, 100 times?
Yeah, but it's the summertime.
Yes.
And that summertime means only one thing: grilling.
Yes.
Backyard barbecues.
BYBBQs.
Yeah, the second part should be easy because it's something that you say all the time.
Right. No, I got stuck because I'm like, backyard's one word. So it's really just BBQ.
Right. Then you're treading dangerously close to that Simpsons joke, which I think is my favorite joke of all time.
BYOBBB.
It's Homer's BBBQ. Yeah. The extra B is for BYOBB, and then
the other Q is a typo.
Yeah, the other B.
The other B. Right.
Yeah, we did that joke justice just now, Tom. Hey, don't even bother watching The Simpsons. Yeah. We did it for you.
A lot of people hearing that joke for the first time, and this will be the definitive version as far as they're concerned.
I think 2 spin-off podcasts. One where we're just talking about haircuts, and another where we're just recounting our favorite Simpsons jokes.
From memory. Yeah.
I mean, I knew that joke, and you interrupted me to get it wrong several times.
So, it's my fault. Okay.
It's your fault.
Just trying to help you along. I thought maybe
why would you
your memory's not what it used to be.
Why would you think that?
Tim, we're talking about grilling.
You're old. You're older than me.
How dare you, Tim?
Oh, this is what I wanted to ask you real quick about haircuts. Because this is the first time this happened. And I think it might just be specific to the Megan Mullally-like woman who was cutting my hair.
But did they take your pants off when you take a haircut?
Tom, has a barber, somebody cutting your hair ever asked, you mind if I cut your eyebrows?
No.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you just got your eyebrows done?
Yeah, my wife has been yelling at me about it. Do I have freaking, what's his face?
Martin Scorsese, rather?
No. Peter,
Pumpkin Eater?
Yeah, Peter Pumpkin Eater. His middle name's also Peter.
Peter who?
The dad from the OC.
Oh, yeah, you have similar eyebrows to him. I could see that.
That sucks.
The guy from Happy Gilmore? The bad guy?
No, that's Shooter McGavin.
Yeah. Oh, who am I thinking of then? Oh, I know who. Yeah. No, you don't have eyebrows that bad. That guy's got big old bushy eyebrows.
But that's his signature. And it's like, are my eyebrows going to have to be my signature now?
You can't get them trimmed?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like Marty Scorsese, he can never get
Peter Gallagher.
Yes.
Man, Gallagher's other brother.
Gallagher's son.
Peter Gallagher is going to go on tour as Gallagher 3.
Hey, I'd go see it.
That lawsuit's going to get...
Yeah, see if he gets any of that smashed watermelon stuck in his eyebrows, if it catches some.
I tried to quietly take off my sweatshirt, and I knocked into my microphone 100 times just now. Barbecue.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I was going to say, though, I thought you just had your eyebrows trimmed, and now the barber said she wanted to trim them?
Yeah. Delighted my wife when I told her that. She's like, see? Vindicated.
Yeah. I've been... they've attempted to pressure me into beard trimmings.
I always... I think that's a good idea to get once in a while.
Yeah.
Because they do a good job.
I'm sure they do a good job. I feel like whenever I've gone to the barber, it's usually like everything's so overgrown, including my beard probably, where it's like, no, I'm going to like shave this off. as soon as like I have a haircut.
Oh. Not me.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think. Maybe somebody has without asking, just like trimmed a few stray
Well, that's
hairs.
audacious.
No, I don't mind that if it's like, oh, there's like one or two like stray hairs. I'm just going to quickly.
I like
snip
that
for you.
she asked. She was like,
Yeah.
do you mind? Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Tim, those eyebrows are pencil thin now. So it's kind of
Elegant, right?
You just look surprised all the time.
I
now.
know, that's-
very, very high arch on those eyebrows.
I think it's a good signature.
They go
look.
halfway up your forehead.
Grilling.
Yeah.
Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Yay or nay? Look, as we're recording this,
Yes.
and we're recording in advance, I'm taking a trip.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hawaii for a few weeks.
Tim's
months.
going to prison for a short stint.
I'm going to neither of those places, Tom. You'll never know where
You're
I'm
going to a Hawaiian prison.
I bet a Hawaiian prison's pretty nice. It's probably
I bet it's
nicer than
hot.
my apartment. Right? I don't know.
I don't think so. Hawaii is like kind of crime riddled.
You don't know that.
I do know that. I used to know somebody who lived in Hawaii.
Who? Was a cast member from
This guy
Lost?
Woody.
Woody?
Yeah.
Woody Boyd?
No.
He lives in Boston and he tends
No,
bar.
no. This guy Woody that I worked with in college. And he was from Hawaii, and he said Hawaii has a lot of crime. Like outside of the
guy named
tourist.
Woody, no.
What about a place like Hawaii? You'd trust that guy more than anybody. But he said, like outside the touristy areas, there's a lot of poverty and a lot of crime.
Okay. Tom, you really brought things down.
I'm just saying, I doubt that the prisons in Hawaii are nice.
There's a Twitter debate raging over an article written about grilling being bad.
Yes.
And here we are. Look, if you're listening to this and you're like, they're pretending like this is ripped from the headlines. Where we are, this is ripped from the headlines. It might be old news to you, but what is the show if not rehashing old news?
The headline is, "Admit it, grilling is bad."
Yeah.
Just because...
By Josh Barrow for Business Insider reporting.
Yeah. Just because you can cook outside doesn't mean you should. Your grill is dirty, has poor temperature control, and lets fat drop into the flame. Indoor cooking is better, which is why that's the main way you cook. This is an opinion column. The thoughts expressed are those of the author.
Yeah.
Those are the bullet points up top.
I like that Business Insider is like keeping
This
hot
is-
take at arm's length.
This does not reflect the views of the news side of Business Insider.
Yeah. Tom, where do you come down? I don't want to harp on that article because that's.
Right.
I think it's really just clickbait, and I think it's also supposed to be lighthearted. And
and like it's.
I'd love to have debates about this rather than like, like
Important
the
things.
rapist is going to be on the Supreme Court, and half the country is in support of him, and half is against him. I think let's get the grilling
this is
debate
a fine
going.
thing to argue about.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, like, it's a very clickbaity title, but then when you get into like the reasons why, a lot of it is like he's talking about people that don't know what they're doing grilling, I think. Because like the first thing is your grill is filthy. And yeah, a lot of grills are filthy. A lot of people do not.
No, his argument is that like even if you do what you're supposed to, it's still kind of gross. And I agree. Look, Tom, here's where I come down on grilling. Since you refuse to answer my question, pro or con grilling?
I'm pro.
I'm pro also because I don't think grilling's supposed to be about cooking your food optimally, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's supposed to be
absolutely.
like
a communal type of.
Yeah, like making fun in the sun, summertime fun times food, right?
Right. Well, and I think it's primarily seen as a way to like, if you're having some kind of an outdoor party or get together, a way that the person cooking isn't away from the party the entire time.
Yeah.
A good grilling party, you're making the grill kind of the water cooler of your backyard where everybody's gathering
I like
around
that.
to talk, exchange gossip, hot goss.
Talking about last night's episode of Seinfeld.
Right. All these things that people do every day in offices around the world.
I think when it comes to meats, Tom,
Yeah.
look, you're supposed to just overcook everything on the grill so it doesn't taste good. It's not like if you're making a hamburger, it's like, this needs to taste like freaking Bobby Flay's Burger Bar burger. It's like, I've never had a barbecue, a hamburger at a backyard barbecue that hasn't been charred.
Right.
And like it's like a hockey puck, and I eat 6 of them.
Yeah.
And 4 hot dogs, and you put it on a bun with a lot of condiments, and it's great. It's not supposed to be 5-star dining.
Yeah.
This guy wants 5-star dining everywhere, Tom. This guy's like, hey, has a backyard barbecue ever won a Michelin star? No, then I don't want it. It's like, hey, not everything needs to win a Michelin star,
right.
sir.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This guy's all hung up on Michelin stars.
If you read the subtext, he is just very hung up on Michelin stars.
Yeah.
I think cooking meat on a grill is tricky. Well, I was going to say, I think on the other...
But it doesn't need to be good.
Right. I think on the other end of this debate...
Ginger, I swear to God.
There are people that take grilling way too seriously, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
and also the people that take it real seriously, like, aren't that good at it. Like, unless
aren't
aren't that good at it.
Jeez, you were like so afraid to say that.
I'm saying the thing. This could get me killed.
No, I agree that like pretty much any time I've been somewhere where somebody's had like an expensive grill and expensive equipment and stuff, it's like, this tastes like shit. This doesn't taste very good. Like,
but it's fine. Here's the thing.
Actually, in those cases, I'm like, this isn't like what I was looking for. And what I'm looking for
is a real Bono situation, huh?
Is something that that has like a nice outdoorsy flavor to it.
Yeah. Badly cooked.
Bad, yeah. My brother actually, like, he always jokes about like, I'm gonna like grill up some hockey pucks. He does like overcook things to the point where it's like, come on, this is ridiculous.
It's fine.
The last time I had one of his burgers, it was way too. Where I was like, this is way too.
I'm sick of you using this podcast to assassinate your brother's character.
To go after my family. No, however, I will say in fairness that I am 100% a like burn my hot dog to a crisp. That's what I want.
And I'll mask it with ketchup and mustard.
No, I won't even mask it. I want the burn taste.
Well, that'll kill you, Tom.
I know it's like carcinogens, but like, have people
what isn't carcinogens?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that it's like, well, we traced it back, and it was actually you ate in your lifetime you ate 100 burnt hot dogs, and that's what did it. Even though you lived, next to power lines and smoked like a chimney.
Grilling, both of the things that you do. I mean, we all live near power lines.
And you had a homemade X-ray machine that you insisted on using all the time.
Grilling is a form of cooking that involves dry heat applied to the surface of
dry
food.
heaves.
Commonly from above, below, or from the side. Where else would it come from?
And what do you mean a dry heat? Is somebody cooking out there with wet heat?
Well, there's no like oil involved.
I guess that would be a wet heat.
And that's what they say. They're like, some people are saying like, oh no, grilling is actually more healthy because you're not cooking it in fat.
Right. The fat's dripping off, a la George Foreman's grill.
Yeah, and that's something that our business insider, the insider, Mr. Barrow, complains about, the fat dripping in, and then he's also like, and that causes the flames to flare up, and it's like, that's cool.
Fire is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flare-up thing I thought was like a weird, like, who gives a shit about flare-ups? I think that's the problem.
Hey, unless we're talking about herpes, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? then you should be concerned about a flare-up.
You should be concerned about them.
You sound like like you're about to introduce our next sponsor.
Anti-herpes medication.
Yeah. Why not?
We should do more ads for pharmaceuticals.
I don't think that's really up to us. I know you've.
Well, I mean, we can be
told
more
the people,
proactive in reaching out to the
do
pharmaceutical.
Some for free.
Yeah.
Do some pro bono.
Yeah. As a way to get hey, first one's free.
Get some samples.
Hey,
yeah, you've constantly
AstraZeneca.
told everybody at HeadGum that you want more pharmaceutical ads and more free pharmacy. We've done a decent amount of pharmaceutical ads.
No, we've done in gray areas.
So what are you saying? You want to do black areas, or like you want stuff you have to go to your doctor and ask about?
Yeah, I want
very specific. Like,
yeah,
do you have restless leg syndrome?
You watch HGTV, and most of the commercials are for prescription drugs.
Yeah,
those companies have so much money.
Who are the people going out and asking their doctor about X, Y, or Z? I get so nervous even just telling a doctor yeah, I've been prescribed my inhaler, which is not something you can I mean, you probably, actually I do know a way you can abuse it, which I won't tell you about, but I'll tell you off mic, Tim.
Tom, very clear. When you started talking about this, I opened up a new tab on my computer and started reading about something else.
No, stuff like that. That's I've taken for decades, and that can't really be abused. And I still, when I'm telling a doctor, I'm like, well, in the past I've always taken this. Could you give me a prescription for that? I'm still afraid that they're like, no, I'm not just some drugstore for a junkie. So I can't even imagine mentioning
just because you're a wuss who can't talk to somebody because they have an advanced degree.
All right. Well, maybe next time I'll go in, I'll say, I heard from a friend that oxycodone would be a big help for this, for my cold. Maybe you can give me a 90-day supply of that. with a few refills.
Yeah, he'd probably be like,
no, apparently, right? No, they're all scared of getting sued now. They won't give you that one. You got to figure out what the new next one that they're over prescribing now and will cause a huge nationwide health concern later.
And we'll tell you what drug that is after the break. All right, Tom, back to grilling. Yeah. Enough of your drug talk.
Oh, I was going to say cooking meat is tricky because, I don't like stuff overcooked. I'm not the kind of maniac, though, that would ever, be like, I want my burger medium rare. That's not...
You're allowed to... at a backyard barbecue? Yeah. Okay, because at a restaurant, the server will usually ask you how you want it done.
I don't know,
or you're just like... I don't want to be prescriptive. I'm not that kind of guy.
Well, whenever I've, worked up the nerve to ask for this at a McDonald's or a Burger King, they make me feel like an idiot.
Even though Burger King's supposed to give it to you your way?
Well, that's what I say to them. And I say, I would like a Whopper rare, please.
I feel like that'll kill you.
I don't want it on the grill. Just put it in the microwave to defrost it and then put it on a bun for me.
Tom, when you are at a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant,
yeah,
and you're asked, how do you want your burger done? Mm-hmm. What's your answer?
Usually medium.
Yeah, me too. And not for any reason, though. It's that seems like middle of the road. It's literally middle of the road.
If it's at a burger place, maybe I'll order medium rare. If I
when people are like, it's got to be pink. Hey, I need it pink.
No, I'm not real
I want
picky.
My burger pink in the middle.
I'm not real picky, but if it's a good burger place where it's okay, the meat is the draw here, and they've got good cooks that I know if I order something medium rare, it's going to come out not rare. Mm-hmm. Then maybe I'll order it medium rare.
I want it bleeding.
Yeah.
Hey, one burger, hold the criers, bleeding, bloody.
Hold the criers?
What do they call the
hold
the onions?
The moo, maybe? Oh, nah. Yeah, like a diner they call onions criers.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's cool, because onions make you cry.
Yeah.
And the cooks are like, thank God I can hold the onions.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be back here crying.
So...
You've heard of don't cry over spilled milk. What about, have you ever heard of don't cry over chopped onions?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've seen people chopping onions, tearing up, and run up to him and say, "Hey, why are you crying?"
Yeah.
You wuss.
You miss your mommy?
Unfortunately, it was somebody whose mother just passed.
To me, that makes the joke better.
This was a backyard funeral. But this past weekend, we had we were both around a grill. Neither of us did any grilling, right?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
We went with a big group.
Yeah.
We got cabins, and there was communal space. And somebody wrote a thank you wrap up email. And they called everyone out. It's like, thanks, Paul, for doing the grilling.
Thanks. You, Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Buddha. Right? She thanks Buddha in that song.
Sure.
Anyway, she thanked everybody. And she's like, thanks, Tom, for building the fire, and blah, blah, blah. And I was the only one not thanked. And then I thought back, I was like, all I did all weekend was sit in a chair and drank.
Take.
Yeah. I mean, you would have if you could have. Nobody could get the fire going, and you were just like, fine, I'll make the fire.
Yeah, but I also enjoyed making a fire, so I didn't need to do it.
Yeah, now I sat in a chair.
Yeah, I mean, me being thanked for making the fire, it's like I had fun making the fire. I don't think people had fun going to the grocery store and shopping. They deserve thank yous more than me. But Tim, I don't like being called a hero.
I mean, nobody called you a hero.
But there was grilling happening, and
I mean, the only way that anyone would ever call you a hero is if they realize that you're full of baloney.
A baloney hero, Tim. Nobody orders a baloney hero.
I think they have it at the Tom,
at
I think
Subway.
That was a solid joke.
You go to Subway and order a baloney hero. Ugh. But they're like, that's what the Madger eats every day. He abuses his managerial privilege and just gets a half a pound of bologna on white bread.
Freaking bologna's gross enough. Subway bologna. Start doing Subway commercials here. You could be the next Jared, Tom. I mean, you always say that you want to be, but I don't think it's because of
I just want to lose enough weight so I can put both my legs in one pant leg, Tim. Anyway, somebody was grilling. It wasn't us, and I don't blame them. But that night, me and a friend of ours, Pollux, who both had burgers, were both very sick. But I don't we both were maybe it was the burgers, but the burgers didn't seem undercooked. And that is if I'm grilling, I always overdo it just because I'm afraid of that. Mm-hmm. And this burger was delicious. So honestly, even if God came down and was like, look, it was the burger was undercooked. That's what made you sick. I'll let you redo this one thing in your life. I'd probably still just be like, nah, the burger was good. I'll take it again. I'll just be sick at night.
Tom, I guess I was gonna
pooping, not throwing up, to be clear.
Okay. I was gonna. No, nobody asked.
But nauseous to
That's
the point.
okay.
Nauseous to the point where I was like, "Am I gonna throw up?"
You also drank a gallon of beer.
Yeah, but I didn't have a hangover the next day, which is the sure sign. But I think honestly, it might have been me and this person, Pollux, had both mostly been eating vegetarian lately, and I know at least for me, this was my second hamburger of the day. So it might have been my body just being like,
we're not used to these proteins.
Into this, pal, you idiot. We're already backed up from the Whopper you had earlier, and now you're shoving this in here?
You had a Whopper, and you didn't get an Impossible Whopper?
Yes. Did I? Yeah, because I had actually wanted a Sourdough King, but they didn't have it. And I just kind of panicked and said Whopper. But I do prefer the Impossible Whopper. Yeah. Mostly just because they make it fresh every time. It seems like they don't have those sitting around waiting. And the difference between an old Whopper and a fresh Whopper is tremendous.
I agree. Tom, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did anyone else eat at Burger King when you stopped for Burger King?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was led to believe.
I mean, yeah.
Here's the report I got.
All right.
And this wasn't me. I was driving. I had a car full of people. You had a car full of people.
Yes.
Driving up. And we were trying to figure out when you're getting there, because I know we left at roughly the same time. And we were low key racing you. So I was happy to hear
Well,
this
you
when they were
lost.
like, "No, we beat you there."
Oh yeah. All right. Well, you won.
Well, when we knew that we could start taking our time was when we got a report from your car. We're at Burger King. Tom wanted to get lunch.
Yes. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, but I took that to mean nobody else was eating. Tom, we were going to watch Tom eat a Whopper.
No, and not only that, Tim. On the way back, we stopped at a rest stop, and I got pizza because it seemed quicker. I was trying to be courteous.
Yeah.
Other people got McDonald's.
Wow.
So other people, not me, got McDonald's, and I didn't get McDonald's.
So there's first time for everything.
I was so mad because I was like, I would have gotten McDonald's if I knew. I wasn't gonna I wasn't mad that this took a few extra minutes, but I thought people would be mad at me, even though I was driving.
Tom, one time a group of us were driving back from a wedding upstate, and you were driving,
Yeah.
and you were very hungover. We were all very hungover.
Yeah.
And you said, I feel sick.
Uh-huh.
We had to pull over at a rest stop, and somebody else needs to drive. I'm so sick that I can't drive.
Yeah? I don't
And then
remember
we
this.
went in. It's Andrew. In case. We went in
Yeah, I felt awful after that
to
wedding.
a rest stop,
Uh-huh.
and it was packed.
Yeah.
And the longest line was for a Burger King. And we all went and used the bathroom, and we're going to go. We were like 45 minutes from home.
Yeah.
And we come out of the bathroom. We're like, we're all ready to go. Where's Tom? You were in the middle of this Burger King line.
Yeah.
You made us stop because you felt sick and needed to switch drivers. And then we had to wait an extra 20 minutes so you could get Burger King that you would then eat in the car because you were too sick to drive.
Well, probably I was too hungry. That was probably what was making me sick. I'm sure that Burger King settled my stomach.
That's never happened for anybody. That Burger King settled my
When
stomach.
you're hungover, sometimes you need to fill your tummy full of garbage in order to, get everybody else to fall in line down there.
Tom, I don't want to create controversy here. Propane versus charcoal.
I like charcoal better, but I'm not religious about it. I really don't.
Growing up, Reynolds family.
Yeah.
Propane or charcoal in the backyard? Or on that little back deck that you have?
Yeah. We had I remember as a kid.
I didn't mean that the deck was that little, but you know
Well,
what I mean.
the barbecue was off the deck.
Okay.
Because that would be dangerous, I
I don't
think.
know. We had a barbecue on the deck.
Well,
Burnt the house down a couple times, but worth it.
well, we had like a little brick thing next, brick.
You had a
floor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant a.
Oh, a brick? No,
Oh,
like
that would've been
Dennis the
cool.
Menace and Mr. Wilson built.
Sure.
Well, Mr. Wilson was building it, and Dennis the Menace he accidentally dropped a walkie-talkie into it. And then Mr. Wilson thought Dennis was trapped in there and ripped apart. Oh
brother.
boy, he was pissed. I think that.
Mr. Wilson got angry?
Yeah, I think that time he actually did hit Dennis.
Hey, it was a long time coming.
It wasn't
if you
even.
ask me.
It was closed fist.
Imagine if in every story Mr. Wilson hit Dennis.
I mean, it would have been more true to the time.
And
And
the Mitchells, Dennis's parents would have turned a blind eye. to
they
it, 'cause
would
they were
have come
"Well,
over and be
we're
like,
bad
"What
at
the hell's
disciplining
going
him."
on?" And then he would have been like, "He ruined my barbecue." And then Mr. Mitchell would have punched Dennis too.
Yeah.
Um,
How old do you think Mr. Wilson was?
I was 30.
Your age, yeah. Yeah, I think the Mitchells had Dennis when she was 21.
Oh
and
yeah,
he was
the
probably
Mitchells
24.
I think were in their late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, they can't control their kid.
Yeah, they had no real world experience.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, Mr. Mitchell probably fought in World War II and knew more about life by the time he was 22 than I know today. What were we saying? What was your
Charcoal
propane
versus-
or
yeah.
when I was a kid, a lot
I
of
was hoping you'd do your Hank Hill impression, but
charcoal or propane?
yeah. But where does he come down on it?
Propane.
Yeah, okay. You didn't really watch much King of the Hill, did you?
No, I knew
Yeah.
that much. He was a propane salesman. I remember as a kid a lot of charcoal, and then I think at some point my dad got like sick of the extra hassle, and we switched over to a propane grill.
Yeah, we were always propane, and it always seemed to me that the post-cooking situation after charcoal is like you still have this hot friggin' thing for like hours there. Mm-hmm. It's like I think my family just didn't want to deal with that. It's like we're going to turn this off, and in an hour the thing's cold as the North Pole.
That's not true, but sure. I mean, just a lot easier to get a propane grill started than a charcoal grill.
Yeah.
And I think probably a lot less expensive as well, because you use propane at a lot slower rate than you go through charcoal.
Mm-hmm. And now a lot of people are just like, oh, you really taste the charcoal when you grill something up, and I like that.
Yeah.
Do you like that? I've only had stuff made on charcoal grill, I think, when somebody was like lighter fluid happy on it. Because because there's like people in their 20s are just like, I'm gonna look how big I can make this flame.
Right.
And it's like, well, now the burger tastes like chemicals.
Right. Yeah, that completely negates it. I mean, I guess I think maybe charcoal provides like a more even heat, perhaps. Although, modern day propane grills are pretty good, I think, as well.
Right.
I mean, charcoal's a lot safer than propane. If you're barbecuing somewhere that's not at your home, it's a lot easier to just bring a little grill and a bag of charcoal than carrying around a big old, like, 15-gallon tank, a 20-gallon tank of propane.
Mm. Propane. Good. This is we're gonna get all the King of the Hill fans on board.
I did like when me and you lived together. We had a propane grill when we had a backyard, and I loved that propane grill because it had a little side burner for beans.
I don't remember the side burner.
Yeah, it had a little side burner for beans. I mean, I think you could use it for things that weren't beans, but that's how it was advertised, and that's how I used it.
Nice. Look. Propane scares me, though. I feel like a propane tank is going to explode. Does that ever happen, though?
Not under normal use. No.
Yeah. I think it's also because we technically weren't allowed to have that propane grill in the backyard because they thought it could explode.
Yeah, or
I
just
think it might be illegal in New York City? No,
I don't think so, because I bought it in New York City,
Yeah, but they're just like, you bought it at a Home Depot. They're like, I don't know where you're going to bring this.
Yeah. Well, but usually if you can't use something in an area, you also can't sell it in that area.
Right.
They don't sell fireworks in New York City and go we don't know where you're going to use them.
Well, because you can't sell fireworks, but they're never going to say you can't sell a propane tank.
They might. If you can't use it, then you can't sell it.
That's government overreach.
Well, they don't... Usually laws aren't like you can sell something but you can't use it, because then people are going to buy it and use it, obviously.
Yeah, but it could be like you can sell it for other purposes.
I mean, look at marijuana laws in New York right now, Tim. You can use it but you can't buy it.
I'm not a drugs person. I don't know.
You can use it but you can't buy it. That's usually the way things go.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and you'd have a much better chance at getting away with using fireworks in New York than you would selling them.
Yeah, I guess so. I'd like to set off fireworks in New York City. Everybody else is doing it.
Fireworks.
Tom, what do you...
Would you, though? Because then your neighbors would see you doing it, and they'd be like, oh, well, now we know who the asshole is.
Do it in my neighborhood? You fool. What do you know about the big green egg?
What?
The big green egg.
Is this a religious thing?
No. You haven't seen this thing? It's all over the internet.
What is it?
It's a big grill that you put in your backyard. It looks like this.
Okay, and what makes that so much better than just like a regular grill?
Guess what? This is a good segue into the different. You call it a backyard, a backwards barbecue, a backyard barbecue, but that's different from barbecuing meat.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because when you have a barbecue, you were grilling. You should
Yeah.
probably call it a backyard grill
I
because
know-
it's high heat and you're
Right.
really and it's high direct heat.
Yeah.
Barbecuing is low and slow.
Yeah, and
And
indirect.
it's indirect and it's not a high heat and you put it in there for as long as you can freaking go.
I know when I was younger and I heard about like, oh man, you gotta go like this barbecue place. I was always like, what? I mean, why would I do that? That's honestly the worst way to cook food. And then when you have real barbecue, it's like, oh, this is absolutely the best way to cook, meat. Most
Yeah.
meat.
So the big green egg, I think, is more of a barbecue situation. It's
Okay.
a Kamado style grill, and we all know
Komodo?
what that is. No, Clamato.
Okay.
You use lump charcoal.
Okay.
You're not supposed to use lighter fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's sweeping the nation. I brought it up because I thought you would know about it because it seems like something you would know about.
No, I am pretty manly. I do know a lot about men's things, Tim. I subscribe to Maxim magazine to keep up on all.
I subscribe to Stuff.
Well, stuff is more tech focused, Tim, and I'm not into that.
I know that about you.
How much does that thing cost? The big green egg.
Ooh, it's not cheap. Let's see. I'm sure there's friggin' a million versions
A million
of it.
different options.
Yeah.
It also, I'm still not sold. I'd have
You
to.
can buy apparel and gear too.
Ooh, all right. Well, maybe I'll just get that
Egg
instead.
Packages. The cheapest one is $1,400.
$1,400.
Yeah, you can get a mini egg for $7.29.
$7.29.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say $400, and I was like, that's a lot of money. But like, I guess if you're grilling a lot, you could maybe justify it. But $1,400, no. And maybe if that's what this article's talking about, then they're absolutely right. $1,400, cook it in your
what
kitchen.
article?
The article about grilling, you idiot.
Oh, the one we've been talking about for the last hour.
What article?
A Business Insider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that there are probably more knuckleheads than not that have bought this thing and been like, well, now I'm an expert grill master and probably would be better off just cooking in their kitchen. That they bought a $1,400 grill and didn't actually learn how to cook things.
I mean, maybe they did though.
Oh, I'm sure some people have, but I'm saying I think there are probably some people that just bought this and they're like, now when people come over, I can just be like, well, look at me, I've got the most expensive grill there is, and they probably still just burn shit on it.
Yeah, Tom.
And all that stuff. It's such nonsense to me that there's any kind of like manliness, like, oh yeah, who's gonna be the grill master? Who's the real man? There's fucking YouTube videos for everything nowadays. Watch
Yeah.
a YouTube video on like how to grill stuff properly, and it's gonna be 10 times better advice than your old man gave you or whatever.
Yeah, enough with your dad.
I'm just saying anyone can learn anything within 10 minutes nowadays.
Tom, we
it's
have a
fine.
mutual friend, great man named Aaron, who is building these beautiful cabinets.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
redoing his entire kitchen. It's like, how'd you learn how to do that? He's like, YouTube.
Yeah.
He's like, craftsman style. It's great. Tom, YouTube.
Hey, let's hear it for YouTube.
We should do more YouTube ads.
YouTube. Yeah, I think they need them.
They need us to get the word out about YouTube.
No, I mean YouTube ads, or not YouTube ads, YouTube videos, and like some patience, and like a little.
That's
bit.
how I became a doctor.
Exactly, Tim. All these knuckleheads are going out there spending all this money on medical school. You've just watched some operation videos.
And some willing patients to let me operate on them.
Yeah,
Take out some
you
appendix.
just needed patience and patience,
Yeah.
and you were able to perform an appendectomy. with no problem. I wasn't even having any problems.
No
with my
complaints for you,
appendix.
right?
No, but
Stitched it
now
real nice.
now I know I can, live out my life never having to worry about my appendix. I mean, you did leave a very, very big jagged scar across my entire
but
abdomen.
You requested that because you thought it would be
I
good
thought
to
it would
pick
look,
up chicks.
Tim, I watched this video the other day about this guy. It was a Vice video. Pittsburgh Batman. There's
Of course, you watched a video called Pittsburgh Batman.
it's about this guy in Pittsburgh that dresses up as Batman.
Oh, really? You don't say.
Yeah. And at first I'm like, this is fine. And the guy's explaining, he's like, I've spent $40,000 on, custom made Batman costumes.
Cool.
And he's like, but look, I've never drank a drop of liquor in my life. I've never done a single drug. Like, this is my vice. This is what I spend money on. And I'm watching this and thinking like, oh, I've absolutely spent more than 40 grand on alcohol and I don't have anything to show for it. So more power to you. And, it's like, he goes to like hospitals and stuff. So it's like, all right, you know what? This is a guy, he gets a kick out of doing this and he's doing good things. There's no harm to it. But then like later in the thing, and it might have just been the way this was edited, but it seemed like he the last 3 years he's been going through a divorce and that might have spurred some of this stuff.
There's always a sad story behind like a really in-depth situation like this.
So but then he's like, I started getting really into, the idea that like, well, and like the dude's ripped, like the dude is in like Batman shape, and like he does.
He's in Batman.
He does like.
Tom, there's an episode on grilling. What are we
He
doing?
does videos. He does like live streams where like he's working out and he's wearing the Batman cowl the whole time. It also seems like he might always have his eyes like darkened, with like black makeup around him.
Saves time that way. Just get it tattooed.
Yeah. But so along those lines, here's the thing. He's like, I started thinking about how like in the movies and the comics and everything, Bruce Wayne's back is all scarred up from all of his fights. So I found a local guy who was willing to scar me. So then he shows off his back and he's just got a bunch of scars on there. Like somebody's just literally cut up his back so that his back's scarred. And then he liked that so much, he went to somebody else who I couldn't tell exactly what was going on, but it looked like they scarred him in a way so that it looked like Catwoman's claws over his shoulder and then tattooed it red so it looked fresh. Like a fresh...
That's kind of cool, though.
It didn't look so cool. It looked kind of like, wow, that's too much. That's... that's now you're getting into like self-harm stuff, I think.
Yeah. I found someone who's willing to scar me. Oh, did you?
Well, and he didn't even say scar. He said, I found a guy who's willing to cut up my back.
You found a psychopath on Craigslist.
Yeah, who was more than happy.
I started corresponding with a cannibal cop.
Yeah.
Who was willing to eat my fingers one by one.
He was willing to let me pay him to hurt me.
Tom, cleaning a grill is a big point of contention. And this is where I think the author, Josh Barrow, has a point where he's just like, I know you brush the grill off, but like nobody's ever really cleaning it. Like you are just grilling on the gross shit that was left behind, but also
that's
charred
part of it.
Bits, and it's
that's
just
part
like
of the
it's
taste.
fine. It's but I will say this. Public grills in like parks and stuff.
Put some tinfoil on that.
Yeah, it's just like, but it's like, what's so different about somebody else's meat that?
Because you don't know what kind of meat they were cooking on there.
You think it could have been dog meat?
Could have been human meat.
Cannibal Cop strikes again.
Exactly. It could have been the Cannibal Cop grilling right before you.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you don't know like what they put, how they season their meat and like their
But at that point, it's burnt. Like the heat is so high that it's
Yeah.
burning.
Well, I
off
was going to
anything.
say, you're also using fire, which is God's sanitizer.
Yeah.
So it's fine,
I
ultimately.
use God's sanitizer to light up some God's herbs sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the way God intended it. That's the way
Yeah,
he
of course
wants it.
he did.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it that it's kind of gross, but I also think honestly, like, and I'm not, I'm not one of these guys who's going to be out here being like, look, COVID's good for your immune system. But I do I do think that and it's great. Ultimately, it's great that we live in a society where like everything's pretty sanitized.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think sometimes with things like grills, it's like, look, it's not the worst thing in the world if
you get
Yeah.
some germs.
you're getting a little dirt, a little char in
Let
there.
your kids play in the mud.
Yeah.
Let your elderly neighbor hit your kid when your kid tricks him into thinking he was built into his backyard barbecue.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that. That like I think, and I'm guilty of this. Like if you think too much about anything, everything's gross.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to turn off your brain, and you can do that by drinking a lot of alcohol while you're at a barbecue. And, like I said, Tim, did I know the burger I was eating was probably undercooked? I did. Did I know it would probably make me very sick later that night? Sure. But it was delicious at the time. And sometimes you just got to grow up.
And guess what? Yeah, grow up, and you're just having fun in the sun with your
You're having
friends.
fun. And that 3 a.m, horrible diarrhea.
Who cares? That's going to happen regardless.
Right. And nobody else, everybody else was in bed, so I wasn't ruining the party by that point.
Yeah. You were ruining your party with your borderline racist jokes
I
that went
wasn't-
on so long.
Tim, they were all in good fun. Well, let me also say this, Tim. We've only been talking about grilling meats, and you're a vegetarian. Vegetables on the grill, the best.
Yeah.
The best way to grill up some corn. Would you rather have boiled corn or grilled corn? No contest.
Grilled, please.
Yeah.
Or no, this is what the nerd would say. Boiled, please. I'm too sensitive for grilled.
My allergies might act up.
It was got a little too charred. I can't take it.
But also, things like a nice shish kebab on a grill,
Kebab.
pineapple on a grill. You slice up some pineapple, you put on a grill.
Here's what I think.
Everything tastes better a little burned.
I think we got to get rid of this. We have to stamp out this. This
Be careful what you say next.
This
Tim.
divide in America because of like, oh, manliness, me, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because like, I think the boomer generation who raised us, they hated vegetables because they all came out like all mushy from cans and stuff.
Yeah.
Like even my parents are like, vegetables, I'm not so sure, right? But
Yeah.
like, they didn't realize that you could like just like put like oil all over them and like cook them up and like almost burn them and char them and like grill them up.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
people could be into vegetables.
Most white boomers were and most still are blissfully unaware of seasoning.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
like you can put even just some salt and pepper on something, it'll make it a lot better.
Yeah.
Let alone get some other spices going in there. Get some olive oil, spray. You don't have to deep fry something, but get one of the spray bottles.
Yeah.
Spray everything with it. Just a little bit of
And
olive
cook it
oil.
so it's crispy.
Yeah.
My parents have never had crispy broccoli.
I've never had crispy food.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Broccoli is a huge one.
Yeah,
You-
and it's like getting my parents
Yeah.
to eat broccoli that I've made. Like they come to my home and I'm like, "Hey, eat this." They're like, "Broccoli? I don't know, Tim."
I forget what place it was, but I went to a place that had something that was, I think it was called like burned broccoli.
Tom, we were at a steakhouse together
Yes.
for a bachelor party.
Uh-huh.
Burnt broccoli, totally a thing.
Yes.
The best thing, it was the only thing on the
I don't
menu I
know
could eat.
how they did it.
I've done it. I've replicated.
Oh, really?
Burnt broccoli is a thing. You can
Yeah.
look it up. YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
It's the best thing because it like disintegrates in your mouth.
Yeah.
A little bit, like the very edges.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If it's done right, it's like each individual little not
like,
floret, but smaller than that.
Yeah, each of the little like branches off the tree that
is individually burned. So not in a way where they all like congeal together into one big burnt part.
They like
delicious.
melt in your mouth or like disintegrate, and then like the stem is all like crispy, perfect. Yeah, it's good. Burnt broccoli. I bet you could do that on a freaking grill.
Just burnt vegetables in general.
You just put vegetables in aluminum foil, put it on the grill for a while.
Put it on the hood of your car, under the bonnet.
We're talking about grilling though, Tom.
You can grill on your car, Tim.
You
can
That's
grill
the
on your
coolest
engine.
Of all, yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't even really talked about that.
Yeah, we'll do a whole episode on
engine grilling.
Yeah, it'll be a Top Gear complete guide.
Look,
crossover.
as long as you've got it wrapped up nicely, so that none of the like fumes are getting in. Best way you can cook.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. Become a patron. Tom, we should say the Patreon thing earlier.
Yes.
Follow us on Patreon or donate to us on Patreon. Become a patron. Subscribe. You get a weekly episode of Books, the podcast, or something even more fun, like Tim and Tom Get High. Mm-hmm. This week, we're finishing up The Secret.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm so happy, Tom. I've gotten everything I want out of life.
Oh, yeah.
And the book
and
taught
you've
me.
just got even more to come at this point.
Yeah, I'm just attracting everything. You too can learn how. You don't even have to buy the book. You subscribe to the Patreon for much cheaper, and you can get early ad-free episodes and polls occasionally that will let you take.
Well, yeah, you can help decide things.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/complete guide.
You can follow us on Instagram at Complete Guide.
Nope.
At TCGTE.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide.
Yes.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I just have the same thing. It's your pal Tim.
Yeah, and I'm at Tom Reynolds.
There's a Discord. Mm-hmm. Complete Guide.
There are now emotes in there.
Yeah, go join the Discord.
It's fun.
There's a fun conversation going on at all times. It used to be a lot more booming. I think people got a little less enthusiastic when they asked Tom to enable these emotes, and he was like, "I did," and then he didn't,
and then I
people
just
were
started
like,
banning people.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Tom doesn't care about this. I'm in there. I care about it."
But unfortunately, you don't know how to do anything.
Exactly, very true. But I'll answer questions if I can figure it out. And then Reddit, Complete Guide.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. No. TCGTE is the
damn it.
Reddit.
Just try all the things. Yeah.
Complete Guide or TCGTE. You'll find us everywhere.
Yeah. Anything else we should plug?
I think that's it. You wanted to plug
this is not going to be true. No. Oh, yeah, YouTube.
YouTube.com. They've got a lot of videos on there. Tim, neither of us currently own grills, I think, right?
Yeah. Neither of us have outside space. This sucks.
But neither of us even have a George Foreman. Or do you have a George Foreman?
No,
grill?
I have a nice
like counter
grill plate, cast iron thing.
I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, I've been making veggie dogs on it all week. There was an extra package of veggie dogs floating around from the cabin.
Oh, I've been cooking hot dogs in my air fryer.
Ooh.
Which is a pretty nice way to do it, too.
Yeah.
They get crispy the same way they do on a grill.
That's cool.
Also, I've started buying just not the cheapest hot dogs possible. I'm blown away at the results.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hate that this is true, but like, if you don't buy the cheapest version of something,
it's better.
It's better.
Yeah.
And like, I like to be a guy that's like, oh no, it's all just as good. You're falling for the marketing.
Yeah.
But it's not
That's
true.
true for some products. It is not true for all products.
Cars. The bad car is as good as a good car.
There's no difference between I can't even think of what like a cheap car is. A no-name brand car.
One of the cars that we drive. Tom.
Well,
I got news for you.
and a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll start. They're gonna start selling no-name cars soon, I think, because all these like Chinese car manufacturers have popped up, like that make electric cars in China, for sale in China. I think more and more of them will be like, we'll sell over here, and it'll be like, no, actually, technically, it's a bicycle. like considering the size and weight, but you can drive it on the highway.
I think that will be the case. Wow, speaking of cool
Yeah.
vehicles, I think what will happen is what we were talking about off mic a couple days ago. Like Instagram marketing branding companies will be like contracting those companies to make cars and then brand it like I don't know, Kiwi car or something, and you'll buy it through an Instagram ad.
I mean, that'd be cool if they could make Complete Guide to Everything cars, and then we could sell those and just get an affiliate fee.
I feel like that's the lawsuit waiting to happen.
No, we'll have some like fine print of like we're not responsible for anything that happens in this car. This car is not meant to be driven by human beings. That will be in the fine print. And look, everybody wins. You get a car for $500, and we get a little off the top.
See you next week.